Good morning. Welcome to CVR English Business Life. So, markets have almost reached to a saturation point last week. Kind of fatigueness was witnessed, and the correction started. So the correction initiation in fact started from the 20th of March itself. Slightly the profit booking began, and it got aggravated the kind of selling on the last Friday. And today the entire Asian markets are trading in deeper red. So the reasons are the Dow Jones markets in the US have closed with about losses of about 460 points on the downside, and so the Nasdaq also followed the Dow Jones and closed by about 196 points as on last week. Now looking into the Asian markets, currently the Asian markets are also trading, getting much deeper into the red. Nikkei is, trading with losses about 700 points. The Hang Seng is also trading with losses of about 542 points, and Shanghai markets are also witnessing the selling. Say about 26 points are what they are trading in losses. And currently if we look at SGX Nifty, which is also trading with loss of about 60 points right now, trading at 11,410. So what we are expecting is the Indian equity markets may also open around in the same ranges with a gap down. So the market analysts last week have predicted the kind of market selling may continue, and most likely Maruti, like other stocks were there which were also recommended for going shorts. So let's also look into the kind of fresh outlook as on this day on Monday, and because this being the expiry week, we need to watch out how the markets any kind of rollovers or whatever the kind of bulls and bears fight which is going to happen in the next 4 days, because in the coming this week Thursday would be the last day for the series of March. Then we would be seeing also the April series starting on the Friday. The last Friday of March month would witness the beginning of the first day of April series. So before that, before getting into much more details, I would invite my guest today, Mr. Chirag, the analyst, who would be helping us much more insights into the markets. So hi Chirag, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Chirag. Let's start with the first insights, talking about the Bank Nifty, which was the outperformer, and so the Nifty was also a very close range, touching the all-time highs. So what's happening like into the index? Suddenly a profit booking getting much more aggravated, deeper into the red, and today when we look into the Asian markets, they are also falling into the deeper red. So is this going to continue as on today, or can we expect a bounce back before the close of the markets today by Monday around 3:30?
Well, first things first, there is a sea of red across the globe. At least across the Asian markets, it is deep into the red. If you look at Nikkei, it is down by more than 3%. Hang Seng is close to 2% lower as far as the current trades are concerned. And if you look at Bank Nifty has bounced back sharply from lower levels it gave, and it spiked to a new fresh lifetime high of 30,008.10. It crossed the psychological level, but it has closed well below it by around 420 odd points. Now, if as far as Bank Nifty is concerned, it has rallied significantly in the recent past. Now, this was on the back of stellar buying activity seen in all good private sector banks, big private sector banks, and they have been responsible to pull the Bank Nifty higher. Now, there was a disparity between Nifty and Bank Nifty. While Bank Nifty made a fresh lifetime high, the Nifty was moving up slowly because of course it has a lot of other components as well. So you will see some bit of a narrowing down, or you will see some bit of a convergence coming through. Don't be surprised if you see Bank Nifty trading around 29,000 levels, or which is around 500-600 points lower. And this is mainly on the back of overall global negativity that we are seeing. So Bank Nifty for the day, the trade will be on the short side. I would recommend traders to go short around 29,500, 29,525 if you get those levels, and go short with a stop loss of 200 points. 29,725 is the stop on the upside, and downside targets can be 29,125 to even 29,000.
Okay. So let's also look into the MCX futures, which traded on Friday, and especially the crude oil, the energy sector. Crude oil witnessed kind of sell-off, and which closed about 71 rupees down on Friday, at the price of about 4,075. So what are we looking at, Chirag? Like crude, if it gets into correction mode, then that means the correction into the equity markets may stop. Why? Because the markets may get bullish. Or is the kind of correction which happened on Friday in crude, will that be an opportunity to buy and go long in crude? What do you suggest?
Well, I would not suggest a long in crude. I will just give you a brief story as to what has happened in crude. From a recent high of somewhere around 85, the stock 85.45 to be precise. The commodity has crashed to a recent low of somewhere around 40, just below 50. 49.93 was the low as far as the dollar terms in Brent crude is concerned. And after that, it has bounced back to around 50% of the entire down move. That is from 85 to 49, and then it has bounced back around $15-16 from the bottom, and it has taken resistance around the 50% retracement of the entire move. This clearly indicates that it is not likely to move higher until and unless there is fresh buying activity which comes in, and we are expecting a downside level of somewhere around 60 to 62.50 as far as crude is concerned in dollar terms. Now, see, the problem for equity markets right now is not just the crude. Even if the crude falls, you will see that the market is likely to fall further lower, because the main problem is coming from the global sentiments or from the global markets. That is mainly from Germany, one of the strongest economies in the globe and the strongest economy in the entire Eurozone. Now, if that is witnessing some kind of problem as far as the long-term GSEC yield rates are concerned, manufacturing PMI data is concerned. Now, if all these things are turning negative, then there is a lot of problem coming in from Europe. And when a stronger economy, spells out trouble, it is definitely not a positive thing as far as the global markets are concerned. We will see a sell-off on the lower side.
Okay, so that's the story on crude oil, and we also had a kind of good buying interest continued in gold and silver in MCX futures, and the gold closed as on Friday about 321 rupees with about 32,140. Silver closed at 38,362 with gains of about 99 rupees. So what can we expect today in precious metals, Chirag?
Well, in precious metals, you can see good buying activity coming through in gold. Now, gold has, it has been consolidating around 31,400 to 31,800, and it has given a breakout above those levels and closed at around 32,140 yesterday. In the last trading session. And we are expecting positive momentum to continue in this commodity, in this precious metal counter, and it is likely to move towards 32,400 over the next 2 to 3 trading sessions. You might be seeing the those levels in today's session, but I would like to be a little cautious and then give you a view for at least 2 to 3 days on gold.
Okay, so before we go into trade, let's also look into the market statistics which happened on last week. So if we look into the markets importantly, last week Nifty advances and declines were Nifty 50 advances were about 19 and declines about 31, and in BSE 200 there were advances of about 64 and the declines were at 137. So if we look at the top 5 gainers in Nifty 50, NTPC, L&T, Asian Paint, JSW Steel, Infosys. So these were the stocks which gained about 1% to 4%. So can we look into any kind of buying opportunities, as these were the gainers last week, especially L&T, Asian Paints, JSW Steel and Infosys?
Well, yes, I am bullish on Asian Paints. That is mainly on the story that we just covered on crude. If crude corrects towards $62, you might as well see Asian Paints moving towards 1520, 1530 on the upside. Major component of paints comes from the crude oil and its byproducts. So Asian Paints will be a beneficiary out of the fallen crude oil prices. Asian Paint is one stock from the Nifty 50 pack, or from the last week's on Friday's top 5 gainers. Apart from these, I am not very bullish on the others.
Okay, so we have also the top 5 losers of last week on Friday: BPCL, Infratel, Tata Motors, Hind Petro and IOC. The thing what we need to look at is the 3 top among the top 5 losers, the 3 losers were about OMCs. So what's happening in all the three OMCs that they went up together and they're coming down together. So exactly, is this a buy opportunity or ignore in this fall?
Well, I would recommend you to ignore in this fall. The simple reason being that they rallied from lower levels on the back of crude oil rising. So now that there is a daily revision in the petrol or diesel prices, they are directly impacted by the the movement of crude oil. Now that the crude oil is witnessing selling pressure at the higher levels, of course there will be selling pressure in all these three OMCs, and we have been bearish on all these three OMCs since the last 2 to 2.5 weeks, and we have seen that they have corrected from sustainable high levels, and we are not very bullish on them. We see a further fall in all these.
Okay, so any stocks do you have to recommend today, Chirag? Either to go short like Maruti you suggested, which also giving profits to viewers and the traders who went on and took the position. So are there any longs or shorts if you want to recommend?
Yes, I have a couple of longs and more number of shorts today, surprisingly. That is on the back of negativity that is flowing on the markets. Now, Maruti is a short. Go short on Maruti if it sustains below 6550 levels. Downside targets that you can assume at least for the day is somewhere around 6400. The other stocks which are looking weak are Bharat Forge. We are bearish on the stock for downside levels of around 475. Currently, it is somewhere around 500 and 500 odd levels. So go with the stop loss of 517. Downside targets 475. Cipla is another stock which is looking feeble on chart. So go short. 533 is where you go short. 549 the stop on the upside. Downside targets 509 or even 505. Long side stocks, Jubilant Foodworks. We had discussed about this in the previous.
In the opening itself, currently trading about more than 100 points minus. So what is the next opportunity one can look into the index?
Well, as far as trade in index is concerned for the day, you can definitely go short if there is a bounce towards higher levels, say somewhere around say 11,380, 11,385 is where you can go short. Currently, it is trading around 11,360. So 20-25 points up move from here can be used as a shorting opportunity. And the stop loss for this trade will be the ones that I have already mentioned. I'll just repeat it for you. It is 11,500 and downside targets can be 11,300, 11,000. 250 also. Looking at the overall negative sentiment, we have gap down, and if we do not fill the gap in the next 4 to 5 trading sessions, we will witness a lot of selling pressure over the next run in the run up to the next expiry.
Okay, so looking into the oil marketing companies, now today they are strong, still trading with strong buying interest coming into that, especially IOC, BPCL and Hind Petro. Can this be the, after correction, can this be the opportunity to buy or ignore them at the moment?
In fact, I would recommend you to go short on such kind of bounces from lower levels, because in the last couple of trading sessions, we have seen a lot of short built up coming in both of these, or in all of these three oil marketing companies. And as far as the trade on Hind Petro is concerned, which is a preferred bet out of the three to go short if it comes somewhere around 275. Currently, it is trading around 272. When you enter into a short trade at around 275, the stop loss will be about 290. It is a 15-point stop loss. No doubt it's a big one, but the targets on the downside will also be big. So, you can definitely play for downside targets of 245 to 240 over the next 10 to 12 trading sessions.
Okay, in the Nifty Next 50, there are also losers among like DLF, NMDC, Bank of Baroda, SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited, Sun TV. These are the top 6 losers, 5 to 6 losers, which are trading about 3% and higher. So these are the stocks which have been either market performers or underperformers, such stocks. So what one can do, like is this an opportunity to go further short, or do you look any value buying, especially in DLF, which also looked a little better in the past couple of days?
Well, if you look at DLF, well, it is in the recent past it has rallied from lower levels, and it has witnessed some bit of a distribution pattern somewhere around 195 to 200. Currently trading around 192. So go short if the stock comes somewhere around 195 with a stop loss placed about 201 or 202 for downside targets of 180 over the next 4 to 5 trading sessions in DLF. In DLF, you will see value buying coming through only if it comes around 170, 175 on the downside, which is again far off from current levels.
Well, in the Nifty Next 50, we are witnessing strong buying in Indigo. Indigo has been a gainer for the past couple of days, and even today in this sharper correction, the Indigo is still a strong gainer by about 1 to 1.2%. Currently trading at 1,444. So, what can be expected in Indigo? Like is this a good buy in case if one gets an opportunity in correction?
Well, yes, if you are getting Indigo, then you should definitely, go long in the stock at, on declines. Now, Indigo is rallying simply on the back of, problems that are there with Jet Airways, and a lot of, flights are being cancelled at Jet Airways, so it is not also witnessing fresh new bookings. And of course, all the rush is going back towards SpiceJet or even Indigo and other players which are not listed. So as far as Indigo is concerned, well, it has also been upgraded by a foreign rating agency or a foreign brokerage called Credit Suisse, and they are expecting that spike in air ticket pricing will definitely come through over the next few weeks or next few months, because it is witnessing a lot of demand. So higher demand calls for higher prices, and that is why you will see Indigo move towards 1500 or even the lifetime highs. The lifetime high for this stock is somewhere around 1520. So if that is around 60 to 70 points away from current levels, so go long in this counter is what I would recommend. Go long with the stop loss of 1350, 100 point stop loss for 150, 200 points upside. That is 10 to 12% can be seen in this counter.
In fact, the mid cap index is also falling by about 0.8% right now. In Nifty mid cap 50, if we look, there are a couple of gainers as well in the losing market. Like REC Limited is gaining by about 2% right now. PFC, NBCC, SRF, Jubilant Food, they all are trading in positive territory. And if we look into the negative losers, negative territory trading stocks are DHFL, Jindal Steel, PNB. We were talking about PNB, which is losing by about 2.2% right now, trading at 89 rupees 60 paisa. So, what would be the kind of PNB status as on today? Will this be calling for further correction into the stock, or what is it happening in PNB? Because as the news goes, that Nirav Modi is arrested, but he is being expected to get a bail. Like most likely, are the concerns for the stock, or is it technical correction?
Well, the problems for PNB is not only with one gentleman called Nirav Modi. It is with a lot of other people as well. Every now and then there are news and rumors coming out that there is a fresh unearthing of a new scam every now and then. So not pretty sure on the names or on the quantum of the of the kind of loans that they have given out and which have turned as NPAs, because I have forgotten those. As far as the trade for PNB is concerned, exit on every bounce is what I would recommend. This was recommended by us even well before it cracked below 150, 140 levels way back in 2018 as well. So PNB, of course, not a preferred bet from the PSU banking space. The one that we like is State Bank of India. The second best one is Canara Bank, and the third best one is Bank of Baroda.
Okay. What about the NBFCs? Again, is the crisis looming over DHFL again, especially because that is continuously losing even today. So it stands as the biggest loser in the mid cap index as of right now, trading by about -3% and more, and trading at 129.80 paisa. So is the DHFL good? One can ignore the stock and better exit and think of some other sector or other stock like Bajaj Finance, which is in the NBFC sector.
Well, along with the banks, even the NBFC sectors are likely to take a hit, because there is a lot to do with the GSEC yields which are falling, and this will definitely be on the radar of the central bank. And if there is no rate cut which is coming through again in the month of April, then of course all these stocks will definitely witness a short term sell off from higher levels. Now, as far as DHFL is concerned, I am just looking at the daily charts, and it is clearly indicating a bearish head and shoulder pattern is in place. And if the stock breaks below 126, it is currently around 130.80. 126, 127 is the region where it has a decent support. If that zone is broken, then the stock can even collapse towards 100 levels on the downside.
Okay, viewers, so that's the update of the market. Trade with caution and trade with stop loss. So we'll catch you again tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. in CVR News Telugu and 9 a.m. at CVR English. So thank you very much for watching the show.